I actually started in marketing working for an agency doing experiential marketing. So that's kind of like the basis of all my marketing work. Experiential marketing is kind of exactly what it says. It's creating branded experiences that will show consumers the things that they have in common and why this brand is for them. And so it can be done in a lot of different ways. Most of the time, or a lot of the time, it's done through events. The other way that you can run an experiential program where you tag on to certain things like the nightlife industry, and a lot of people will recognize Red Bull does that, and that also is experiential marketing. The agency I used to work for, our little mantra was support the brands that support your scene, and so we worked a lot with producing actual events, branded events, but we also did go ahead and kind of essentially tag on to nightlife partners. Something that's really important to realize is that experiential marketing is actually still extremely relevant, and in a lot of ways it can be very complementary, or I think it is complementary to digital marketing or social media marketing. And the reason it's important is that the quality of the interactions with the brand and the consumer is far higher when there's actually a human being interacting with the consumer. In experiential marketing, when we have brand ambassadors and stuff, in some ways we're kind of borrowing their credibility. They become the embodiment of the brand to people when they're interacting with it. And in the way that we always, when we're interacting with any humans that we meet, we essentially either develop rapport or we don't. And the brand ambassador is there to develop rapport, answer questions, and kind of humanize this brand. And they, like I said, they're in some ways the physical manifestation of the brand. And so you're like, oh, I think this person is really cool. And it's like, I like them, so I like this brand. When we're doing an experiential activation and we're interacting with a human being with a brand, it gives the brand the chance to actually go ahead and say something that without it being disregarded by a consumer or swiped. Because yes, you can swipe a human and walk away from them, but it's a little bit harder to do. So just with the complicated nature of human emotions and psychology and the way that we're conditioned to go ahead and at least gives people a tiny bit of respect, we hope. From my own experience, I've worked with brand launches and stuff in the United States where brands came from Europe. You can utilize experiential marketing and borrow the credibility of other people to go ahead and make a value statement about your brand and kind of say what your brand is, because the brand is supporting a scene, and so I worked with a program that specifically worked with music, and of course this is my whole life, music and arts, and they didn't even get a read on their market share, and after 2 years it went from literally 0 to 9%, and actually to go and get 9% of market share is absolutely amazing, because when people think, they're like, oh, 9%, that's not even 10%. It's like, that's not even a tenth of the whole market. But when you think about these markets where these big brands are living and they're selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of products in this category, getting to 9% is really huge. And so I guess if I was writing a case study on it, and we'll get to just to get to the point, is that after 2 years they loved it so much they decided to go ahead and launch it in 25 major markets around the world. And so then it was a global initiative. And so it shows you the power of experiential marketing and what an impact having a face-to-face interaction along with the other advertising that you're doing. But that's the thing that pushed it over the top. People felt like it was an authentic brand that they had things in common with, that they felt emotionally tied to. They also adopted the brand and went from their regular brand to that brand rather quickly. That is one example of why experiential marketing can work in tandem with your other things, the other marketing components in the mix of the greater strategy, and can really make a big difference.